hate the create mod. You may ask, but why, you short, dumb Create is awesome. Well, my humble goober and or gremlin, I'll tell you. First and foremost, remember to like, comment, and First and foremost, for those uninitiated, the Create mod is a mod that adds steampunk-esque contraptions to help automate certain processes, from conveyor belts to chest sorting, to mechanical presses, to crushers, and even trains. I couldn't quite figure them out. The Create mod is a very awesome, handy addition to a more vanilla world. So, what's my beef then? It's included in every mod pack ever. Now, this isn't necessarily a problem on its own. Again, it's a pretty neat, pretty useful mod to have. However, most mod pack creators just shoehorn it into their mod packs nowadays without any thought. Either it's just there, just because, or it actively changes core gameplay to sometimes detrimental depths. As an example of a mod pack where it contributes essentially nothing to overall gameplay, Lingango, which is a mod pack centered around fighting bosses and other more RPG-styled gameplay, it's added in with no rhyme or reason, giving no purpose to go out of your way to use it. This sort of thing isn't bad by any means, and it's nice that it's not on the more extreme end. However, it begs the question, why even include it? I will say though, that this was one of my first instances fairly recently of ever using the mod. With the crusher, as well as the encased fans for bulk haunting, it allowed for slightly more convenient nether quartz and redstone collection. All in all, not too bad, not too intrusive, but what about a mod pack that takes it a bit too far? Stoneblock 3, for example, forces you into a lot of automation via solely create presses. While not bad early game, eventually, playing with my friends, it got way out of hand. Considering there are a lot of large, demanding recipes, having to be sorted or made solely by Create's slow, clunky, procedural, high space demanding machines, which also tank your game's performance quite a bit. Late game in Stoneblock 3 is awful. Something that Stoneblock 3 also does is it tends to try and change a lot of recipes to make you rely on Create and to do super complex recipes with Create. At the time, we didn't really know how to use it to the best of our abilities, so at the time we just had one line of presses going to do everything. So when we were going to go ahead and start automating things, we were way behind. It was not particularly convenient or good for getting our way through Stoneblock 3. Thus, we abandoned it. Another mod pack which throws it in with little to no tweaks, thus forcing you to go out of your way to make maybe just a single machine for one resource, thus wasting your time, is All the Mods 9. Like Lingango isn't too bad, it outright forces it upon you in certain situations for only a handful of things, making acquiring a resource only possible with Create. This is such a bad way to implement Create. It doesn't really get you into it much, yet it also forces it upon you, which I've noticed a lot of mod packs doing nowadays, forcing you to rely on Create's slow, space-taking, time-consuming machines only for one or two reasons. Now, if it wasn't clear already, the issue I have is not Create in general, but the overuse of it in mod packs, with the sole purpose to slow down the player to a crawl for a while. When used properly, especially as just an addition to a vanilla world, it can be rather handy and contribute to a more creative experience. However, this is not how most packs use it. Rather than leaning on the creativity, they force you to automate to a major scale. Not fun. I think the mod is best suited for a vanilla add-on, or when tweaked more, like the last two packs I'm going to mention. Those two packs being Stoneblock 4 and Liminal Industries. Stoneblock 4, unlike its predecessor, aims to make it a lot less of a focus. However, still playing a role in the progression. In Stoneblock 4, Create, while there, and used as an extra option for sorting items, storage, power generation. For the most part, it's just used as a form of energy provided to the world engine for the sake of progressing and crafting certain items. It doesn't really get in the way too much. It's very nice. And it also throws in a few little chambers that you have to go through to progress and get upgrades for the world engine. It introduces you to a lot of create mechanics through these little chambers. The first one we were introduced to forces you to go through this little create parkour thing, which was really creative and taught me that you can actually use the create wrench to swing from chain pulleys as a form of transportation. It's really cool. All in all, it doesn't really get in the way. Very nice. I really like create in this instance, although I don't think it's necessarily that important in Stoneblock 4. Outside of providing rotational force for the world engine, because there are other mods here that allow for better storage, better power generation, better transportation of items, fluids, whatever else. But it's a nice little option for those that want to use it. Finally, Liminal Industries, a mod pack centered around being stuck in the back rooms, uses Create as the main way to progress and automate almost everything. Unlike Stoneblock 3, however, it isn't trying to make you invent entire neutron stars. It makes Create the focus, with some supporting mods here and there. Out of any mod packs this day that I've seen, these two definitely approach Create in the right way, at least in my opinion. I really have enjoyed learning Create. It just kind of makes me want to jump off a bridge, seeing it everywhere. All the freaking time, mostly for no reason, with no thought put into it. But here in Liminal Industries, it doesn't really force you to do stupid stuff to go out of your way to craft things. It doesn't really change Create or crafting recipes in a super frustrating way. One thing that it does do is it forces you to first use steam engines and burners rather than going what I would think would be the traditional route that someone would start with, being water wheels, which isn't too big of a deal once you learn how to use them and how to get them going on their own. Overall, I think Liminal Industries is the pack that I've talked about today that utilizes Create the best and will teach you Create the best and will make it not super awful, painful, terrible, slow process. It's very nice. So if Create's something you want to get into, I'd recommend either just implementing it into a vanilla world with maybe a few supporting mods, or just play Liminal Industries. Anyway, that's all I got regarding this topic. What are your thoughts on the Create mod? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, peace out.